Larry Czarnecki is the engineering manager at Marion Bodyworks in Marion, Wisconsin. So, Larry, tell us about your career pathway.
Sure. As I talk, you'll definitely hear some parallels between mine and John as far as some of the experiences and stuff. My pathway probably was a little bit more unusual than most. Again, in high school, I was definitely interested in those math and science classes. Those were my favorite subjects. I just loved them. I took every possible class I could that was available to me. Of course, back then, not that it's been too long ago, but they didn't have all of the great AP and additional college courses that are available in high school as they do today. So if possible, definitely recommend taking all those if that's what those classes are of interest to you, as they were of me. So after high school, I knew I wanted to do something related to those classes, and it was probably going to be either in the engineering field or even possibly a math teacher, just because I enjoyed that so much. But I went off to college down at UW-Madison and started down the path of the engineering. While down in Madison, it's a great place and there's a lot to do and a lot of fun can be had. In some cases, you can have too much fun. So I ultimately did not finish my college career there. I ended up stopping after a year and a half and came back to the area here and actually started working in manufacturing here at Marion Bodyworks. Working on the shop floor, putting together some of the vehicles that we manufacture here. But fortunately, after a couple of years of doing that, there was an opening in the engineering department here for a draftsman, a detail draftsman, to create some of the AutoCAD drawings for the fire apparatus that we manufacture, again, similar to what John was explaining before also. So I was very fortunate to be able to get that position, to be able to start working in the engineering department because of all of the classes that I had taken in high school. I had also CAD classes, AutoCAD classes, and what I had taken so far in college. So that kind of started my engineering career. I was, as soon as I was able to get into that position, I knew that I wanted to continue my education. So I then had registered and started taking classes at night after work towards completion of my engineering degree. I will let you know, of course, it's definitely a good way of doing it. If you stay in school right away, it's a better way of doing it. But there was some benefits I felt to taking it at night while working, because a lot of the classes that I had taken, the engineering classes that I was taking at night, were directly related to a lot of what I was doing at work during the day. So I was able to get some hands-on with the classes, as opposed to when you go fresh out of high school to college, you're getting all of that information, but sometimes it's difficult to relate that to the real world. So I was fortunate to have that experience. In hindsight, going back, of course, ideally you would want to continue and finish right after school. It'll be a much better in the long run. So then, as I was continuing to my education to get my degree, I was fortunate again to continue to grow with the company here at Marion, and grew into a couple different positions, including production manager on the floor for those fire apparatus, managing a group of people to get the product built. And then as I was nearing the completion of my mechanical engineering degree, there was an opening for the engineering manager position here. And again, fortunate to be able to get that position, and have been working in that ever since. So I ultimately then, like I said, got my mechanical engineering degree. And shortly after, I actually even started working on my MBA, my master's of business, related to my work experience and being in a management role that was beneficial to me. I guess I say all that because bottom line, you can never stop learning. There's always stuff to know. And the more you know, the better it is. Additional classes are always helpful. So it always helps in the things I've done. So that's kind of how I got to where I am today. So in my role of an engineering manager, much of what I do is overseeing some of the other designers and engineers that we have working here on the various products. Um, Tied to Lynn's question earlier, with between the mechanical, she had some of the different degrees on there. I obviously had started as a draftsman and a detailer. Those a 2-year associate's degree is great for those types of positions. It gives you a lot of information, gives you some background information, and the CAD classes to be able to do those very successfully. Once you move on to the 4-year college degrees, the mechanical design degrees, that's where you get into more of the analysis of the structural analysis. Will this hold? Is this the right material? Et cetera. So those are kind of two different paths that I always like to tell students. Kind of depends on what level of the design you want to go for and what interests you the most. And again, this kind of parallels what John had stated too. You got the design side and the analysis side, and then the drafting and the CAD side. So I do a little bit more of the analysis side, looking at the materials, looking at doing an FEA, finite element analysis, to make sure it's structurally sound. Our products are going on the road, so we've got things like weight distributions to make sure the weights are appropriately applied over the axles. Looking at different finishes. Again, we're on the road. There's a lot of chemicals and salt and stuff on the road that we have to be concerned about. So things like looking at the different various paints and galvanized coatings and other things like that. Also need to have familiarity from an electrical standpoint. We use a lot of different adhesives, so you've got some chemical knowledge that you need to be aware of. So part of the fun for me anyway with engineering, and especially here at Marion, we get involved with a lot of different products, a lot of different components. So there's a lot of variety, and that has allowed me to use much of what I've learned through my college courses and degree and stuff, where they teach you a little bit of everything, and I've been fortunate to be able to use a little bit of everything. So no, there's never a dull day. There's always something that needs to be determined, figured out. Engineering is ultimately solving problem solving. There are no answers, as there isn't in school in your coursework. When you get a problem in the real world out here, you've got to come up with the answer, and then hopefully it's the right one. If not, reevaluate and continue on, and try and continue to make it better and improve. So that's kind of what I do on a regular basis, besides obviously the meetings and just overall product improvement. I'm trying to make our products better. Continue learning, working with different suppliers, what they can do better. As far as engineering goes, again, if you like math, science, if you like to tinker, break things down, tear things apart, see how they work, engineering is just awesome to do that with. So find something you enjoy, figure out what that is, and then go forward with it. And of course, never give up. Obviously, I had challenges with my education, but I never gave up and ultimately got my degree. So that's, I guess, a brief summary.
Awesome. Students, please ask questions in the chat. You had mentioned, Larry, working at Marion Bodyworks and then continuing your classes at night. Does Marion Bodyworks have tuition reimbursement or other programs to support workers to do exactly what you did?
They definitely do, and that is an awesome benefit that many places of employment have now, which is great. The tuition reimbursement that helped pay for much of my education, my classes. This different businesses have different levels of reimbursement, but fortunately, Marion pays 100%. So yes, that was excellent. I still would have completed. I still would have done it anyway, but that's always a bonus. So correct.
Yeah, and it's great for students to know that, because so many times students and parents think that you have to go right into your 4-year degree, or that you have to find the money yourselves. And in many instances, if you get that job, they will support you at least, some of the tuition, if not all, as Marion Bodyworks does. So great.
Correct.
Allison, any questions that you or any students have?
There's nothing in the chat, but Larry, a question for you is, what's the best part of your job?
Like I said, I think to me, it's the variety of stuff that I get involved with. We have so many different products here at Marion, and so many different things that go into that it's every day is unique. And so that to me is probably the best thing, is that I'm not spending a month working on one specific project or item. It's a lot of little things scattered about the day. That makes, of course, time management a challenge, but that's also part of the fun of it. So